Suppose somebody is there in the operation theater, and you are doing appendicitis. The appendicitis or apprentice on that. And he says, sir, I don't know exactly. I think over half the lesson I have learned. Can we do it? Sir, the scalpel is missing. Can you do? Dravyam. Suture is not there. See the aseptic condition of the operation theater and the actual finesse and the amount of expertise required by the doctor. And with the dravyam, with the procedure, Mati Panamudima, Verdi is like that. Follow Vedas. Then Swamiji is saying, now that you are clear, this is the Pramanam. Veda Mata will talk Triguna. It will talk about all the three things. Traigunya Vishayaha Vedantrikuba. You have to pick that path which suits you and suits the current time. Vedathil sonnadai.
Vedathil sonnadai kaalathirku ottava karuthinil kolla vendum mundi para. Vedathil sonnadai kaalathirku ottava karuthinil kolla vendum mundi para. Bharatharku idamillai undi para. Bharatharku idamillai undi para.
Since the whole Dharma Shastram, which our Swamiji has said in some sweet nectar in Tamil, is called Kali Dharma Shastram, Swamiji is saying Kalathirku Vattava. Kalam includes everything. Kalam includes our mental makeup. Kalam includes our physical capability. Yalla. Kalam na everything comes under it. Because kalam is not just the physical chronological time. It is the quality of the time also, which is called kalam. And kalam's quality cannot be ascertained without conscious entities. Na? So what does kalam's quality mean? Na? With respect to humans only, na? With respect to living beings only, na? Time can be judged. Quality of, say, katrika. What is the quality of brinjal, bangan? Na? With respect to a consumer only, you can say na quality. And so here, kalam includes our buddhi. Because kalam influences buddhi. Vinasha kale viparita buddhi. Not viparita buddhe vinasha kalam solala. It is when the kalam is not okay, the kalam even influences our buddhi wrongly. So here when he says Vedathil sonnade, whatever has been expounded by Vedas, also have the consideration of the current time, which includes my physical, emotional, intellectual and spiritual capability. Mainana, humankind's. What kalam are we there? Kalathil Ottava, he didn't say Kali at all na here. It means Kali in a title. It is a Kali Dharmam which we are talking about. So Vedathil sonnadai Kalathirku Ottava. Kalathirku Ottava na commiserate or in line with or aligned with the current times. You have to pick the path within Vedas. It has to be a Vedic path. But not all Vedic paths will work all the time. For the current times, look at the most apt path. Kali Kala Uchitam Dharmam. What is it? See. And so he is saying, we have to consider that. Consider the karuthinil kolla vendum. We need to consider that. Marutharkidamillai. Don't object, because obviously dharma means we have to do na. Dharmam charada. Dharmam terinja poradu. You see, I know. Not enough. I do has to be there. You see, which means if I just have to learn something and know it, na, anytime I can know. If I have to only by heart something, na, doesn't matter adu Krita Yugama, Treta Yugama, only by hearting then. But dharmam chara, you have to walk. So when I have to walk, then I have to see if the road is okay, na? Suppose I say walk and then show a very thorny path. Nobody will walk. Why, na? Walk I have to, but this path won't work for me. Find a path which you can walk, but you have to walk. Vedantam reveals the goal. Vedantam reveals Atma Swarupam, Paramatma Swarupam, Bhagavat Swarupam. Right? So Vedathil sonnadai means dharmam. Whatever dharma which is shown by Vedas, it has to align. It has to be practical for the current times. Kalathikotavana Kalika, our kala. And Marutharkidamillai, don't discard it. Which itself shows the beauty of our Vedas. In our Vedas, there is no one size fit all or one size fit any time. Whenever we buy a small frock for our little girl, 1 year old, can she wear it when she's 8 years old? But the time has changed. Generally, we say one size fit all. Na, you use the same direction time also. Na. What I bought 5 years back, Now too tight na health paathukanum, too loose na good news, you see. So here when time changes, that which fit me 10 years back won't fit me now, so I have to use my current state, what I am right now, to see if I have a proper clothes to wear, etc. Likewise, Vedamata very clearly is very practical, because she has different paths for different times. She understands. Amma knows Karthala enna saapduvan, Madhyana what does he eat, night what does he eat, in the morning generally breakfast. You see why? Because depending on the time, the mother knows this is what will fit that person. The mega day into 4 cycles. First cycle is like early morning. It's called Krita Yuga. In that, the path shown by Shastras is a little different. Why? Fitness. When somebody is really hungry, now you can feed very well. You can give all. If I'm not hungry, now don't try any spicy food. You see, already my digestive power is coming. And then I put something very difficult to digest, now it's going to complicate me. So the mother knows that the child is not hungry, but she's wanting something. Now or munching. Likewise, Vedamata, when you are in the Satya Yuga, she shows a very different margam. She tells something else. She says, Dhyayan, do dhyanam. Kritehe. Next Yuga, next Kala, Vedamata is showing, she understands. Now people are not fit to sit in the same place for more than 1 hour, and all won't be possible. So do something sitting in a place, that's possible. When you sit and you have to do some kriya, not possible. Yeah. So she regulated a person's energy in form of yajnam. Yajnam. Dhyanam or yogam first. Yajnam, which is in line with yogam only. That's the beauty. If you see, that's a separate topic in itself. Everything you have in your progression of the yoga marga, apdiye kriyaya irukum in Veda marga. And the same Vedic kriyas would have been adapted to be a puja here. And the puja everything is taken care by Nama itself. The principle is same, but the way in which the principle is approached is different. Ade mava tikka pota, you have adai. Not adai, what is it called? Uttapam. Thinna pota dosa. If you put even more thinner, paper roast. But you have the same maave which is steamed, now you got it. And the madri, the principle of divinity is same. Don't think it's different. Adhe namathil irukra adhe chaitanyam is there in Dhyana Marga. Nama Marga Chaitanyam is in Dhyana Marga. Dhyana Marga Chaitanyam is in karmathila nama pannakodiya yaga yajnadigal. And it is there in puja also. But then what is palatable and compatible to my health right now is what we have to see. You see? So here, our Swamiji says, beauty with our Sanatana Dharma is, it clearly understands different strokes for different folks, for different times, for different situations. That's the uniqueness of Sanatana. One size fit all. During those ages, Vedamata says, do dhyanam, do yogam, manasadakku samadhi. Next Yuga, when things become a little bit, passion, activity based, restlessness, yagam pannu. Yajan yajnehi tretaya. Dwapare, third one, do archana, do puja, because you can't follow the strict scruples and principles of Vedic sacrifice. Mudiliya parvala. Bring it a little down. Minimum, kuli, kaikala lambu, come and do. Adu mudiliya, nama, finish. So our Swamiji is saying, Vedamata is very clear about which time, what path is to be followed. And so don't take a path which is not in line with the current time, current lifestyle, current mental makeup, current psyche, current capability. Then don't blame Vedas then. You see, Vedamata has given us that. So he's saying, align our path, which is a Vedic path, in line with the times. And the beauty is, you will still be within the Vedic fold when you chant the divine name. Why? Vedatin Saram Harin. Veda Saram. Bodhendra Swamiji wrote 6 chapters, pages and pages, putting his all the Shastras, Mimamsa Shastram, Vedanta Shastram, Vyakarana Shastram, Ella Shastram, all of it Sarva Shastram. And to come to the conclusion right from Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, Adharvana Veda, Namadan Saram. Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, Namamda Saram. And if you are very fortunate, you will chant. If you chant, fortune awaits you. And only when you have tremendous papam, Nama would be seen with negligence and alakshya. Adinale, He said, whatever Veda Mata says, see it in line with the current situation. And then he says, the first path of Vedas, the first step in Vedas is always Karma Margam. Karma illama eppadi poma mudiyum Veda. Karma Gandam first, Upasana Gandam next, and the third one is Jnana Gandam. You see, Jnana. Karma, Bhakti, Jnana. So here, he's saying first he has to talk about Karma Gandam. Vedam nale, Dharmam means Yajnam da. Actually, if you ask a Vedic person, Dharma nale enna arthona? Yajnam, Yajno vai Vishnohu. Yajnam means, you all know, there is a small, we actually offer all our offerings through Agni Bhagavan to Paravasudeva through all the other deities or directly to him also. So it's called Velvi.
வேள்வி அற்றிட வேண்டியதிரவியம் இன்று கிட்டுமோ உந்தி பர வேள்வி அற்றிட வேண்டியதிரவியம் இன்று கிட்டுமோ உந்தி பர கிட்டாததால் வீணே உந்தி பர கிட்டாததால் வீணே உந்தி பர.
And so when dravyam, dravyam means some material, not random material. Material as prescribed by Vedas, with the mantras as prescribed by Vedas, in a procedure as prescribed by Vedas, in the time as and by the person as prescribed by Vedas. There is you have to prepare yourself for the yajna. Summa vandu ukandala panna mudiyadhu. Adukku you have to be fasting. Idella there is a prior preparation required for all that. So, first is Yajnam means Dravya Tyagam. For Dravya Tyagam means sacrificing a material and saying this material is not mine, it is for you. So Yajnam nale what do we do? Indraya Swaha, Indraya Idan Namama, Dravya Tyagam da Yajnam. Adavadhu for Devatartham, Dravya Tyagam. For a deity to get this material, I am sacrificing the material is the fundamental principle of Yajnam. Adinalada, Swamiji has a big list. Dravyam mattu solita. Dravyam. There is also mantra lobam, dravya lobam, ajya lobam, tirtha lobam. Lobam means shortcomings. Instead of telling a big list, a fundamental thing in a yajnam is at least the dravyam should be as per Vedas. Na? Even the dravyam we can't get. Don't think just you put any wood inside the fire, it becomes yajna. Adula right from cutting the grass, mantra solli panano. Darbe eduthu neenga tharayila vechitena gone ella zero charge battery ande. So if you see all the conditions for yajnam na, but depressing. And I'm not going in depth. More detailed about all these parts are there. Our Dr. Bhagyaji has very beautifully released all these lectures in form of an app. There is an app which is there. You all can buy it. It is available. And for those who are interested, please let us know. We'll tell you the link. There he has dealt in depth on all these things. And I will only cursorily go because we need to complete the main part by tomorrow. So here, for a yajna, most important thing is material, dravyam. But then even take for fire or agni, we need ghee, clarified butter. You can't buy a tin from Walmart and use it as per original Vedic. Don't mistake me. I am telling you the traditional view of things. I know there are some people who don't agree with it, but I have to tell my side. If you don't agree, I fully accept that because I have to tell now what I heard. So if even Ajya Lobam no nirku abdina, it has to be from a particular breed of cow. It cannot be from buffalo. For that yajnam, it has to be like that. Do we know where it came from? Yes. And there are some sticks on the summit. That has to be from that species of tree only. That's correct on the size. And it has to be picked in a way. It cannot be cut, etc. is there. That's why you pick summit. And then dharba, the grass which we use for purification, etc. That grass has a procedure for cutting. And the mantra solli cut panno. So if you look at our Dharma Shastra for yajnam na, but let me be honest with you, I am a brother, I am telling you as a brother. We are not able to let go of it because it's a lovely culture within us. We should not also. There are people who have their livelihood based on that. We have to encourage them. If there are people who are following Vedic life, now we have to give whatever we can because we are not able to follow that. That is one side apart. Now the question is, it's a grand path, maha grand path, karma marga. How many can follow it? 5 out of a billion, 10 out of a billion, you see? Because even for yajnam, sthalam, the place Shuddhin unirke. Time is there. That's why you have Jyotisha Shastram. Why do we have astrology? Not only for our horoscopes, it is also for how we actually do yajnam. You see, in the time la correct yajnam, in the time la we should do Purna Ahuti, everything. Mahatmas created an ecosystem around that only. So for all that, minimum we need a pure material. Afterwards, the mantras which we actually pronounce has to be perfect intonation. It cannot be wrongly spoken. You can't adjust panne. Summa panne. In yajnam it's not possible. Nama adjust panni solla. Hare Rama. Utang parvala. You see. Suppose somebody is there in the operation theatre, and you are doing appendicitis. The appendicitis or apprentice on that. And he says, sir, I don't know exactly. I think over half the lesson I have learnt. Can we do it? Sir, the scalpel is missing. Can you do? Dravyam. Suture is not there. See the aseptic condition of the operation theatre and the actual finesse and the amount of expertise required by the doctor. And with the dravyam, with the procedure, mati panna mudiyuma. You see, just imagine somebody is operating and the doctor says, oops, poche. You see, patient operation successful. Lady is like that. That's why there is a Yajaman who is constantly in that the Brahmano Tarkar. Yajaman is the person for whom we are doing. Brahma constant because we may have some blind spots and Veda Mata does not give much scope for error. And even if you do a Vedic Kriya properly, Mahatma say, let us chant the divine name and pray for all these lapses to be forgiven by the Lord, because that is the precision required. So fundamentally, even the dravyam we get is not lobam. Adunala, dravyam is very difficult to get for this. Swamiji is using the same word used by Adishankara Bhagavad to show the greatness of Nam Sankirtan. In Sahasranama Bhashya, the first thing he says, Dravyantara anapekshitvam adikye karanam. Because you don't need any dravyam at all. Only then you have to bother whether dravyam is pure or not pure. Dravyam, material. It takes nothing from this material world when you have to do Nam Sankirtan. But for Kriya, for Karma Ganda, everything is from material. Bhavam la secondary. Proper intonation, proper material has to follow. You see? And that is what is Raja Samhita. That is what Veda Mata is. But our Swamiji says it's a grand path. You all know. We also do Veda nourishment. We have Veda Padasala. Our Swamiji supports a lot of Vedic activities. But what about you and me? What about you and me? For us, there has to be a path. So our Swamiji is looking at you and me. The same Mahatma who is so much having love towards protecting Vedic heritage, etc., with great, in spite of challenges, etc., we started, Swamiji started a Veda Padashala in 1994 or so, in a Madi of a house. That is a love he has. So, the compassion he has for the rest of the world is as much or even more than the love he has for. That's why he's saying this. What about you and me? We can't do all that. Find a way. Then he said, what about yoga? After the Karma Marga comes the Upasana Margam. And in Upasana Margam, Bhagavan says Upasana has to be done with tremendous bhakti. If you can't do bhakti, Abhyasa Yogena Tato. Abhyasa Yogam is the yogic marga trying to attain Bhagavan. After karma, if you do karma properly, then we get the proper chitta suddhi, which means purity of mind. Then we can go in the next higher path, etc. But here, suppose I go straight away to yogam. Swamiji says, look here. Just like how the karma, if you don't do properly, you have what is called as pratyavaya dosham. There are two things, abhikramana dosham, pratyavaya dosham. If you do a karma properly and you do it halfway, it won't give you 15 days work commiserate in the half salary. If you don't finish the karma, you don't get anything at all. If you don't do the karma properly in the Vedic way, pratyavaya dosham, we get even adverse effects, it seems. So much. Yet it is a grand path, we should support it. Don't mistake me here. We have to know both sides. We can't be blind. And the next one, just like karma, if you don't do properly, it can have its effect. We also have niyamangal nirainda.
நியமங்கள் நிறைந்த யோக மார்க்கத்தில் நியமம் தவறினால் உந்தி பர. நியமங்கள் நிறைந்த யோக மார்க்கத்தில் நியமம் தவறினால் உந்தி பர. புத்தி பெதலிக்கும் என்றுந்தி பர. புத்தி பெதலிக்கும் என்றுந்தி பர.
The word niyama means lot of rules and regulations as a normal term. There is something called a jargon, or there is something called a specialized term when you talk about a path. There is also a normal meaning. For example, dravyam. Dravyam means anything. But when you say karma and dravyam, it is what you offer to the Agni in that karma margam. So dravyam is a technical term. It's a jargon for karma margis. In the Vedikas, dravyam means that which you offer to the deity. Dravyam can mean even bricks, etc. Adum perfect. There is even the correct size of bricks. How you make the bricks? And whether we can use any metal instead of brick, I don't know. Because I am not an expert in karma marga, but I know there are very great specifications for that. Likewise, niyamam means rules and regulations. That's why when we sing Mahamantra Kirtan, these two are our two eyes. This indicates the path that takes us to the path. So the Mahamantra Kirtan and Dharma Undiyar are like two eyes for us. Shruti Smriti Mari. And here, our niyamas means conditions. That's why we say, Kalika bikare samhar, nahi niyamon ka jisme bar, aisa kirtan gaavore. So niyamon ka jisme bar means niyama samanya anapekshitvam. Even the normal niyama is not there, is the general thing, which means no rules, no regulations. Even you don't have to wash your mouth to chant Hari, Hari, Hari. But here niyamam ne edirkar liya. So you have to understand what niyamam is. There is something called yama niyama. And the yama ave namakku yaman ulla poradhukku adhe mudiyadhu. The first, when you say yoga marga, yamam niyamam asanam pranayamam pratyahara dharana dhyana samadhi, 8 steps. Dhyana 7th leg. And we want to go to 7th step first. How is it possible? We have to prepare the base before we go. The first is called yamam. Yamam na enartham na? How we actually respect others, how we have a lifestyle, and what are the spiritual routines you have to follow is yama and niyama. Yamam la ahimsa. First, not hurting anybody in words and actions. Ahimsa. Appuram satya, speaking the truth. Asteya, it's not stealing, even mentally, which means somebody comes with a nice car, the car nalla irke, adu kuda asteyama. You see, mentally also you should not be attracted by, mentally you have stolen, you are already seeing yourself in that car, poche, it's gone. You see, asteyam brahmacharyam is a major problem. Control over all our senses, control over our viryam, adu illa yogathalla we can't go. Aparigraham, not accepting gifts or not taking somebody else's material. These are all yama. Minimum yama. Minimum ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, brahmacharyam, aparigraham. Minimum 5 yama. And niyama is after you do all this, earth step, which is my own personal routine, personal purification, so that I am ready for yoga. First, saucham, cleanliness. Inner cleanliness, outer cleanliness. What does cleanliness means? Anything apart from my body should not stick to the body. Then cleanliness. If there is a dirt, I have to wash it off. Adhe mari in the mind, the goal of my life should only be there in the mind. Anything which is going to contaminate that has to be immediately purged out. Shaucham. Santosham, contentment. Oh, if we don't have santosham, we are not fit for yoga. Kashtam dane. Our social life demands ambition. And yoga life demands santosham. Conflict on this. When you are constantly aspiring growth, sir, growth, you tell me. This is all Patanjali Maharshi. Don't give me some modern day person who is just blabbering something just for market. Look at what Patanjali says. Santosham. If that santosham is not there, how can you sit down calmly and go in yoga? When the mind is always racing towards, I want to achieve that, I want to attain that, I want to be better than that. How is it possible? Yeah. Tapahana, austerity, controlling my senses. Tapas. Swadhyayam, read Bhagavatam, read Ramayanam, constantly Swadhyaya Pravachanam, be motivated so that you don't drop out of yoga. And then Swadhyayam, Ishvara Pranidhanani, Ishvara Pranidhanani, get the grace of Thakurji if you want to start. Idella Niyamam. Saucham, Santosham, Tapas, Swadhyayam, Ishvara Pranidhanji, Niyamam. And then minimum yama is brahmacharyam, which means what actually incites, passion in me, I should not see. What incites passion in me, I should not eat. What incites passion, I should not listen. The mari irkrava kuda irundale problem. You see, because company is there na, everybody exudes some vibrations. Yogis won't even touch each other. They won't touch. They understand some things will be transferred. They won't use the towel used by somebody else. They won't use the dress used by somebody else. Why? There are vibrations of that person there, very subtle ones. Yogis can understand that. You follow niyamam. And in yoga, you have to do the yamam niyamam first. Asanam, proper karma. You should practice it slowly. Suddenly you sit down like that, the back ache, then it's a problem. You see, slowly you have to practice. A guru will tell you how to do asana. Appuram pranayamam. Pranan plays with all our subtle movements of nadis. Subtle energy currents in our body is played by pranayama. We need actually a guru who teaches us pranayama. Each one's path will be different. You can't read a book on general pranayama and go for higher. Normal pranayama safe. Just take a deep breath, retain for some time, push it out, safe. But there are higher parts of pranayama. We are playing with very emotional currents, energy currents in the body. Pranayama. And pratyahara. What is there in pratyahara? Once you do these three, then you try pratyahara, it will work. If you don't do pranayama, asana, etc., you try pratyahara, it only leads you to bitterness. We become bitter. It may actually lead us to atheism also. Patanjali solrar, I am not able to do it. The mind won't say, I am not fit. It will say, Bhagavane illa po. It will never blame itself. It will only go straight to Bhagavan. So we will throw the blame there. And so our Swamiji says, since yoga means using your Kundalini Shakti, Mooladharam, base. And the Mooladhara, 3.5 coil, the Sushumna Nadi, Kundalini Shakti. First, you have to reverse it so that it goes up through the subtle channel of our backbone. Backbone cut pannalam theriyadu. Like when you say there is Agni in Arani, when I say that dry wood has Agni, you see, it is subtle. Like you churn an Agni, you have to churn this Agni called Kundalini by prana. The prana once you do it, it's a subtle channel. And once slowly it comes up. Mooladharam. And slowly, one by one, there are 7 chakras, isn't it? And then this is Ajna, and then Sahasraram. You have to put, each time it comes up, it creates a lot of pain in the body. The equivalent of Yoga Shastram is also in our Amrita Madana. So first we teach children as stories. First let them learn all that. Idella Satya. But Tattva, Yoga Tattva sonna puriyuma. And let them know the story first. What is Amai? What is the tortoise? Asana Siddhi. And whenever the tortoise, that's why they put tortoise as a plank for people to do dhyanam. Tortoise, whenever it is attacked, what does it do? It takes the 4 legs in and the head in. And until the thread goes, it will never come out. Like that, the 5 sense organs, you have to pull it in whenever we do pratyahara. That's why we have the tortoise. And the entire Meru mountain is our backbone. Vasuki is our Sushumna Nadi. In that, slowly, we have to churn with prana. That's the Nadi Shuddhi. The Asuras pulling this side, Devas pulling. That's the Sarva. That's the Nadi Shuddhi. 4 in, 8 out. 4 in, 8 out. 4 in, 8 out. Without a gap. That's not churning. You don't churn like this. There's a churning. Like that, it's called Nadi Shuddhi. The first pranayama to churn it. When you churn it, first thing which will come is poison. You see. That's pain. That's body change. And that poison has to be surrendered to the Guru. Sarvaloka Guru, Kailasapati comes and drinks that poison. Only then we can progress. So our Swamiji says there is so many niyamas in this. Right from the first stage of Yama, Brahmacharyam illana buddhi pedalichidam. We will become an emotional wreck, it seems, if we don't do this properly. It is, our Swamiji's favorite example is, it is like licking honey through a sharp knife. Carefully you have to do it. You will enjoy the sweetness. It will cut your tongue. You can't enjoy anything in your life then. So here, that is how important it is. Niyam. And right now, our lifestyle. Tell me, can we at least see ahimsa, mudiyuma, satyam, mudiyuma, asteyam, mudiyuma, brahmacharya, mudiyuma, aparigraham, mudiyuma? Our lifestyle. And saucham, santosham, content. For mudiyuma, sutirkavadam uduvala. So here, tapaha, swadhyaya. So our Swamiji says, don't even just idly try. If you have a good guru who are experts in this path, and a guru, how is he an expert in the path? He will tell yes or no to people. That is only for bhajananda ellarum varungal. Yogathukku he has to test the fitness. He will be doing tremendous. Yoga cannot be mass produced. You see, you can't do a mass propagation of yoga, because yoga has this tremendous power to give us that anubhavam. No doubt, great path by Patanjali Maharshi. It also has the flip side. If you don't do it properly, if you overdo it, what happens is, buddhi pe dali kumundi, we'll get into a lot of neurological problems, psychological problems. Why Swamiji is saying, they have come with all these problems, they have come to Satsang. And Swamiji has corrected them and showed them the path. So all this is not theory, satya. So in Yoga Marga, we have to be careful. Like taking honey through a sharp knife. It's a grand path, yes. Bhagavan loves that path. Bhagavan has told that Arjuna, Yogi Bhava Arjuna Allah sollirkar. Fitness. Are you fit? Minimum yamam, minimum brahmacharya. Adi illana kundalini, the power, the serpent power relies on the reservoir of brahmacharya only. Adi illama what will? Or the charge illana battery won't work liya. And the Maria. So it's a very, it is not for everybody. And if people don't do it properly, it has very adverse effects. So be careful. In the current situation, kalathukku ottavar. Our yoga margam as a sadhana is prescribed by Vedas. Genuine path, great path. Are we fit is what we need to ask. And then he is giving a small example. What about Jnana Marga? Jnana Marga nane? When can you do Jnana Marga? First is Karma Kandam. He has told it. Vedam dane. Second, Upasana Kandam by yoga. Right? The third is Jnana Kandam. And our Ramana Maharshi says that only when the mind is subdued a bit, Jnana Vicharam or Atma Vicharam or Brahma Vicharam is possible. Adangada Manasila, Brahma Vicharam, Jnana Vicharam, impossible. So how do we control our mind? Our Ramana Maharshi says 4 things. First one is diet control. Ahara Niyamam, Pranayamam, Murti Dhyanam, Ilena, Mantra, Japam. These 4 can subdue the mind. In non-Arni has written, who am I? In that essay he has said, first, அடங்கின மனதுலதான் ஆத்ம விசாரம் பிடிபடும். பிடிபடும் என்ன அர்த்தம் தெரியுமா? அப்பதான் புரிஞ்சு போமா, பண்ணுவோன்னு அர்த்தம் கிடையாது. Atleast we'll understand what this ஆத்ம விசாரம் is. And so here he said, preliminarily for ஞான மார்க்கம்
சுவையான உணவுடன் சுகமான வாழ்க்கையில் மனமடங்கும் என்பது உந்தி பர. சுவையான உணவுடன் சுகமான வாழ்க்கையில் மனமடங்கும் என்பது உந்தி பர. மடமையே ஆகும் என்று உந்தி பர. மடமையே ஆகும் என்று உந்தி பர.
When people are in Jnana Margamna, the thirst for liberation has to be like a fire in the hair. Ultra mari irukkanuma. When you are still holding on, I am this body, I have to look beautiful, etc., and you are doing Atma Vicharamna, our Adi Shankara has a wonderful example for that. He said, you are now catching hold of a crocodile to cross a river. That crocodile itself will finish you. What is that crocodile? Deha Vimanam. So, nalla taste saapannum. And I have to eat taste vakavagaya. And I have to have a luxurious life. Or I need only hot water to take. Because Sarira Ninda Prakaranam or Prakaran. First, we should feel the body is a burden. It is only a necessity for me to get to that liberation. You should look at the body like that, not for something to do poshana. Only then Jnana Vichara will have. We need that Vairagya. Without that Vairagya, Jnana is not. Bhagavan says to Uddhava Swamina, unless the Vairagya is 100%, Jnana Vicharam is not for you. If the Vairagya is 0, no spirituality is for you. a little bit of vairagya in between, and if you have this fortune of listening to Katha by a Mahatmana, come. Bhakti is perfect for you. Avula vairagya avashyam illa. Says Bhagavan, that much vairagya is not required as you required for Jnana Vichara to Uddhava. So here our Swamiji is hinting Jnana Vichara. Why? Karmam, Upasanam, Jnanam. These are the 3 parts of Vedas. So here he's saying sweet, wonderful, tasty food means 2 things. First, the tasty food will give an impact on the mind, because what we eat, a portion of it becomes the body. One portion of it, mid portion of it becomes the body. Gross portion is expelled out, adjusted out. Subtle portion becomes our mind. And the taste, the soft tone, if we eat only because of the taste, that part of the food becomes our mind, which will make it even more passionate. And the second thing is, it's very clear that I have not even won over my sense organs. How can I even imagine doing Jnana Vichara? Because sadhana chatushtayatla, the first thing is Shama and Dhamma. Dhamma means controlling my senses. First sense to be controlled is tongue. That's why Thiruvalam Swami, when our Murugan, Tirutani Murugan, he looked at Thiruvalam Swami in a divine darshan he gave. He became Uruvai Vanda. He told Thiruvalam Swamiji, first thing you need to do if you want Jnana is Ruchiyai Aru. Kool Kudithal Ool Pogum. First cut your palate. First enemy for you. Because palate and brahmacharyam are related. Yaar solra? Prahladan. Jikhvai kato achyuta vikarshati ma vitripta sishno anyatastvad udaram shravanam kutaschit tvag udaram shravanam kutaschit. He's saying, Prahlad Swami, hey, Thakurji, Narasimha Bhagavan, like a husband with 5 wives, each wife pulling the husband to their place. In one way, my tongue is pulling me, taste under there. And in another part, my stomach is pulling me, skin is pulling me, ears are pulling me, all my sense organs are pulling me. And I'm caught like this. What can I do? He says. When we are in that state, how can we imagine the mind will come to a poise? It will become controlled. How can we control the mind with all these comforts where we are nourishing the body? And the body, as it gets habituated to nourishment, will demand more. How can you have santosham? The mind will never be restful. So our Swamiji says, do your Atma Pariksha. You are all intelligent. Be honest. Intellectual honesty is what our Swamiji likes, that word. Be honest to yourself. Ask yourself, can I actually go in this path of Jnana Vichara when I am not even able to control my palate? I am not even able to control my comforts. What am I trying? Jnana Vichara is for people who left everything. Kaupinavanta, Kalubhagyavantaha, Jnana Vichara. Where they wear only loin cloth and they are passionate. They are thirsty for Atma Jnanam, Paramatma Jnanam. So he says, ask yourself, Jnana Vicharatika, are you fit? If not, don't. And then he said, I talked about all the spiritual paths, but let me start with Adipada. Let me start with fundamental stuff. Vedas talks about what is called as a Varna Ashrama Dharma. And it is a grand path, no doubt. Varna Ashramamna, depending on the occupation which is dominant in us and depending on our stage of life. Occupations are typically 4, which is learning, which is typically Vedic learning, and the rest, research, etc., contemplation. And then political rulership, management. And the third one is finance, dealing with finance, business. How do I make it more prosperous? 4th is service. You see, in the 4, everywhere it is there. And it's called Varnam. Ashrama means my stage of life. First is bachelorhood, called Brahmacharyam. There are rules for that. Brahmacharya. And you're not supposed to shave. You're not supposed to look smart. Yeah, now your focus should be on studies, not on your looks. After that, you come to your Grihastha Ashrama, you are ready. Appo you do all these things. Do all that. Have an umbrella, look nice, look sharp. So that somebody found. So here, then you get married. Household life is a very different thing. In Brahmacharyam, you are not supposed to work. When you study, focus on study. And so you go do Bhiksha to be humble, because study demands humility. So you go take Bhiksha, share it with your Guru, do idallam Brahmacharya Ashram. And Grahastha should never beg. You see, if you are a Grahastha, you should not beg. You can take Dhanam, but you can't beg. You are supposed to give alms to people. Other three stages of life. The third stage of life is retirement, called vanaprastha. And then sannyasam, which means totally I'm out of this world. I don't even want to accept the existence of this world. I want only divinity. Sannyasam. So you have brahmachari, grahastha ashramam, vanaprastham, and then sannyasam. And the grahasthas are the householders who are supposed to support the other three. They are the heart of a society. And very beautifully, our society was divided into people who do penance and people who take efforts. And these two people need not interact at all. They do penance for the whole world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, that penance pannite irukka. Because the result comes as an interplay of efforts and grace. And there were a set of people who were supposed to earn the grace of Bhagavan, so they led a selfless life. That was the ideal of this Varnashrama. Other three put their effort, helped by the grace, which is coming from the penance of those type of people. And இதுதான் வர்ணம். இப்போ now our Swamiji says, வர்ணம்னாலே now people think color. தமிழ்ல வர்ணம்னா வண்ணம் ஆச்சு. இன்னும் வர்ணம்னா என்னன்னே தெரியல. ஆசிரமம்னா very fantastic, sir. What in a very beautiful landscape you should see. Very divine landscape. Idan ashram. You see. So people don't know ashram means stage of life. Varnam means my occupation, which is dominant in me. All that is gone now. What is the point in talking about all this? When people don't even know the meaning. And then he says, Podu Dharmam, humans being humans, forget divinity. 4 things are called Podu Dharmam as per Bhagavata. Podu Dharmam means Samanya Dharmam. Samanya Dharmam means that which defines human as a human. Normal values. 4 things: Satyam, Saucham, Daya, and Tapas. Satyam, speak the truth. That's what humans' dharma is. And Saucham means cleanliness. Daya means compassion towards everybody, irrespective of what or which. And then tapas is penance, controlling our senses, doing things as per will. Minimum. Adhe poi. Now, Podu Dharmam poyyachu. Podu Dharmathila first Satyam liya. That itself poi. Saucham. Ennatha Saucham? Whenever we wake up, vertha bodu kulithu. Pasitha bodu pusithu. If we are sweaty, then we'll take bath. Pradha snanam na irukka. And when we do snanam, what we have to remember when we do snanam? All these are there. Normal human dharma mein poch. So, inime, what is the point in talking about Shastram? Great. Shastram is Sakshat Narayanan, no doubt. But now, where are we and what are we talking about? Is it fair? So, he's saying, inime adalam pesada. Now, let us look at what we are. Let's salvage our situation. And if somebody follows that, now let us nourish them, take care of it. So truly following, of course, they need nourishment. That we are doing it. But what about you and me? Sitting 10,000 kilometers away in a land where I am striving for my livelihood. I am struggling between clash of 2 civilizations. I can't let go of my roots, nor can I completely let go of this jalak of this. I am caught in a quandary. Isn't it? Dharma sankat. This is what we are in. So Swamiji says, I understand. And there is a way out. And is what he's going to say. And then he comes to first Vedic Marga, then Dhyana Marga, everything is done. Upasana. There are 2 aspects to that. Many of the temples has become very commercial. And the Tirtham, all these pilgrim spots, very commercial. And in the temple also, that is the state of the temples. We can't blame the temples for that. And nobody can help it. Kali. So when all the Tirtha, Kovil, etc. becomes Vyaparam, it means if you have prema, don't see the Vyaparam there. Many times I have seen people going to the temple and complaining about the people in the temple, saying, Paisa. But I'm just trying to say, given the situation, how do I ensure I don't do apachara? So, I'm going only for Jagannatha Swami. I'm going only for Gokula Krishnan. I'm going only for Perumal. You have to shut your eyes about other things. That's not why I'm going there. Not to find faults around Perumal. If you are the part of a committee, you want to improve temples, not very good. But as the devotee, I'm going only to have darshan. Don't see the Vyavaramata. See. Don't do that. Bhagavana பார்த்தேன் சௌக்கியமா அப்படியே விட்டுடும். அங்க அவர் சொல்ற, if Govil and Tirtham is Vyabaram, smaller problem. பட் கூடி போறதே வியாபாரம்னா ஒரு பேக்கேஜ் டூர், everybody come with me, everybody is going, ஒரு ஹாயா ஒரு டூர், dry cleaning is taken care, very happy place to stay. And now when many times I have asked people, the package people, how did it go? Super food service, so many people, I don't know how. எங்க போயிட்டு வந்தேன் நீங்க? அங்கதானே போயிட்டு வந்தேன். You went to a pilgrim spot தானே. First thing you are remembering is food. First thing you are remembering is, in spite of going outside Tamil Nadu, I got coffee in the right time. அப்ப எதுக்கு போனேங்க? Do you know how we have to go to a pilgrimage? In 1995, an article came in Maharanyam. If you are going to temple, Bhagavan இப்போ இருக்கான் பாருங்களேன். அதான் ஆச்சு. In spite of all this, Bhagavan is there. But we need to be a Mahabhakta to see that Bhagavan. Yeah. When you are going to a pilgrim space, we all went in 1993 to Vrindavan with Swamiji, about 200 of them. And we all went there. 1 month before we went to Vrindavan, Swamiji ensured that a very great Bhagavata came and told us Vrindavana Mahatmyam for 1 month. Every day evening, he would come and tell us greatness of Vrindavan, great bhaktas of Vrindavan. And he told us how to do a pilgrimage. Summa poi take podradilla pilgrimage. You have to soak. Pilgrimage should be like a bhakta went on a pilgrimage, she became one with Krishna. Appadidana irukkum pilgrimage. And our Ranganatha Swami patti, when our Alvar is saying, in spite of having darshan of Ranganatha Swami, ஒரு பவுண்ட் கொரியாம அவ ஃபுல்லா வெள்ள வரானே புரியலையேன்ற. Should you not be melting inside? And these people go in and come out ஃபுல்லா வராளே வெள்ள. Pilgrimage na first போறோம். We are going. When will we go? அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு thirst. And second, we have to understand pilgrimage. When we go, we have to avoid these things. First, don't comment on a pilgrim spot. If you go to Vrindavanam, ஐயோ சாக்கடெல்லாம் ஓடுறதே, ஒரே பண்ணியா இருக்கு அப்படிலாம் சொன்னேன்னா மகாபச்சாரம், க்ஷேத்திர பாப்பி ஆயிடும். And if there are kshetra vasis there, we should never condemn them or talk ill of them or even think ill of them. How is it possible? Unless you know the value of why we are going, all this will bother us. You see? And then when you go there, Akrura Mari we should go. When Akrura came to Vrindavan, look at what he did. Immediately he jumped out of his chariot, rolled in the sand. He didn't even see Krishna. He saw Krishna's pada reno. And the Vrindavanam Sakibuvo Vidanoti Kirtam Ye Devaki Sudha Padambuja Labda Lakshmi. He saw the Rekha. The Padma Rekha Path roll. அப்படி போனோம்னா அது கூடி போறது இல்ல, சத்சங்கமா. So here he is saying, சும்மா போயிட்டு வருது இல்ல பாரு. Even if you go once, that should be the cause for you to attain Krishna. Go like that. Quality is very important. கோவிலும் தீர்த்தமும் வியாபாரமான பின் கூடி போவதால் உண்டீபர ஒன்றும் பயனில்லை உண்டீபர. This our Tukaram Maharaj and Ekanath Maharaj showed this. You see, either of them or maybe both. A person said, I'm going to this tirtha, I'm going to that tirtha, and he gave a big list. And he was right under Pandharpur. He was going everywhere. Then he gave him a Karela. He said, do me a small favor. Where all you are going? We are going to Kashi, we are going there, big list. And then the whole cart was filled with all the provisions, lamp plant, the outing, the lamp plant, tent. And then our that Mahabhakta, either it's Ekanathar or Tukaram, he also sent a bitter god and said, wherever you go in the tirtha, and they all went to all the tirtham, some year of the tirtham, 30, 40 tirthams they came, dipped everything. Then Ekanath Swami cut that Karela and gave a piece to everybody. And kasappa irke. 20 tirthams he took bath, even then it is bitter. Then they all looked at each other. What is this Mahabhachana? You didn't go to the pilgrimage the way you had to do pilgrimage. That way nothing changed in that Karela, nothing changed in you also. This is not how you do pilgrimage. Nandanar Mari Pona pilgrimage. That is what is the standard. When you go there, all the defects should not be seen at Appadi Pona. Satsanga. And then, what is the point? All this is all from Bhagavatam, Padma Puranam, Vishnu Puranam, Ella Puranam, Sloka Solram. Our Swamiji is just picturizing what is happening with tremendous pain and sorrow in the heart. You can see that clear. Puja, Purohitam, Purana, Pravachanam, all this, if it has become commercial, it will lose the essence. It is like a husk and the grain. When you grind the husk and take the grain off and only husk the remains, husk will look as if it is going inside, but it's empty, no use. When things have become for money, Swamiji has written a lovely note in one of our Namadwaars. When the whole world is commercialized, at least we are hoping a divine place won't be commercialized. If you bring commercial aspects into the divine place also, where will we go? Or Namadwaar. உலகமே வியாபாரமா இருக்கு. ஒரு தெய்வீக இடத்துல தான் வியாபாரம் இல்லைன்னு நம்ம வரோம். அங்கேயும் வியாபாரம் ஆகிட்டாங்கன்னா வேற எங்கதான் போவோம் நம்ம அப்படின்னு. If Purana is for money, Purana is for name and fame, what do you think they will talk about? Puranam சொல்றது, telling a Purana is penance. Telling Bhagavad Gunam is penance. You see, there are some who just for name, fame, etc. They are the pandits. But then what is the intention? So, Pujai, Purohita, all that also. Even Puja has to be done with Pujam Dado Virachitam Pranayava Lokai. Puja is done for adoration. Purohitam is done out of the devotion towards Veda Mata. So somebody is following Vedika Vishayam, a Purohita will be very happy and do it. No. But now things have changed now. Even Purana, if it is commercialized, how will they tell the right dharma? They will tell only palatable dharma, which is not dharma at all. They will tell what we want to hear. They won't trade on things which are the important ones. They will tell things which are agreeable to us. And in a way which is agreeable to us. And of course, many people will listen, etc. What is the use? So he's saying, the current state, I don't have to reiterate all this. But it's there so that we all reflect and understand the grandness of the path we are going. I'm just telling you all this. Sadangum Sampradayamum
Sadangum Sampradayamum Sadhaneku Angamam Angamadigamana Undi Para Sadangum Sampradayamum Sadhaneku Angamam Angamadigamana Undi Para Sadhane Veenagum Undi Para Sadhane Veenagum
the various rites, rituals, practices which has been handed over by traditions, etc. It's all an auxiliary or an anga. It's all something which is a support system for the main sadhana. Main sadhana is prema bhakti. Main sadhana, if you are a yogi, is something else, which is how do I actually control my sushumnadam pathande irukano. Kundalini enga irukunu kamichide irukano. And if you are a bhakta, bhakti da main. If you are Jnana Vichari, how my mind is controlled is the main purpose here. So here, when we have the rites, rituals, our achara, anushtana, etc., it is all there to, as an anga, as an auxiliary for our main sadhana, which is bhakti, which is either japam, or which is either devotion, or which is either jnana, vairagya, etc. But if you allow the auxiliaries to outgrow our core purpose of doing it, sadhana will be affected, you see. For example, the typical example I can understand in Kali is, during Ekadasi, we all wake up in the night. We also have minimum food, Vaikunta Ekadasi. But in India, I've seen some worrying trends where Vaikunta Ekadasi cinema theaters run continuous shows. So that people thought waking up is the thing. Sadhanike, see, adukku thungillan thodu. But instead of looking at some random cinema and corrupting our mind on a holy day, thungardu better on kuda thondu. So now what happened? Sadhana was Bhagavat Chintanam, Bhagavat Gunanubhavam, Bhagavat Bhakti. What was the Anga? Auxiliary. Don't eat much that day. Don't sleep that day. Upavasam. Be near Bhagavan. Upavasam. When your mind has to go near Bhagavan. So don't load the mind with some dull food, etc. Minimize it. If you can fast better, don't sleep. Without sleeping, chant as much possible. Think as much possible. But now, not sleeping has become more important than Bhagavad Chintana. So sadhana has become completely destroyed. Anga, auxiliary became very important. You see. Adhemartha achara anushtana, saucham, cleanliness, etc. is there to protect our penance. Penance illa. But no penance at all. So there is no grain, only a husk remaining. So we have to be very clear why we are doing this. What is the purpose? Both are important. But we have to know why we are doing Sadhanga Sampradaya. Sadhanga Sampradaya vandam nam solla yarum solla matta. We are not saying we don't need rites, rituals, traditional practices, everything we need. But don't let that outgrow the basic purpose for which it is there, which is sadhana. What is sadhana? Our spiritual uplift. What is that spiritual uplift? Either devotion, jnana or vairagya, right? So we have to be careful about it. And then the last today,
Sharanagati sevarkum vishwasam vendum sollarku elidam endrundi para. Sharanagati sevarkum vishwasam vendum sollarku elidam endrundi para. Seidarku aridam endru undi para. Seidarku aridam endru undi para.
Finally, there is only one means out for us, surrendering ourselves totally to Bhagavan. Sharanagati. But for Sharanagati, there are 5 important attributes. And 6th one is the final result called Atma Samarpanam. So, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, Anukulyasya Sankalpam, Rakshishyasi iti Drida Vishwasaha, Gotruptve Varanam, Karpanyam, Atma Nikshepanam, Shadvida Sharanagati. The most important life of Sharanagati is Mahaviswas. Complete faith in Bhagavan's grace or Acharyan's grace. But it is easier said than done. Vishwasam andurudavlo easily. Yeah. So that's why he say, even for Sharanagati, which is a very grand path, final path for all of us, Charamam, adu kuda Vishwasam illana adu alpa Sharanagati. Then only when the person to whom we do Sharanagati is Adhigariya irundha namla alla kareyara mudiyum. Namla pakkuvapaduthuvar adala satyam. But for Sharanagati also, Vishwasam is important. And I will quote one of the great Sri Vaishnava Acharya Purushas who talked about this in one of the Pasuram's commentary tomorrow. So, namak vera vadi illa, because that's how Swamiji started na Sharanagati na vadi. So, Mudalva Sharanam is what he started. But even that Sharanagati is easier said than done, is what he's saying. And we will see that more tomorrow. Sadguru Maharaj ki